Hi, everybody. I'm Shalisa, CEO of MVP Consulting and author of When You're Ready to Move. I've spent the last couple of days talking a little bit about the MVP Circle experience, which is a structured leadership and transition community built around my guide, When You're Ready to Move. This is really for people who are in life transition. So, whether that is career change, whether you've been laid off unexpectedly, whether you're planning your exit, your next chapter, you're reinventing yourself in some way, even family and life transitions, this guy really helps you to be able to move with clarity instead of panic. When I think about a lot of the business leaders I know, what I know is that we don't move from panic. We assess, we stabilize, we gather data and information, and then we make calculated moves. This is the practical kind of method for things. But when we're unexpectedly thrown into transitions, we often abandon the very things that made us successful. We forget about the information, we forget about the data, and we go into a frenzy. If we think about that in and of itself, that should make sense of why we need to add a little bit more intention to seasons just like this. To go further, if we think about a business leader who is about to go through a transformation for their company, when they're preparing for that next phase, you might notice that it's not just the hope that we're going to be successful. No, they're going to invest in strategy. They're going to invest in structure, advisors, and systems to all make sure that all things are working together for the success of that transformation. So, why would you approach your next season any differently? Doesn't make sense, right? Like there's a recipe for this. And so I want you to treat your next season like a business transformation. And so here's the infrastructure of the MVP Circle experience just to help that make a little bit more sense. We're going to have a strategic diagnostic conversation to clarify where you are and what needs to be rebuilt, reinvented, created, what have you, and what success looks like for you. We will have on-demand executive insights that deepen your reflection between sessions, which is so important. We're going to have 2 structured sessions a month. That's it. And those allow for some structured accountability and recalibration. And so while there is a motivation component to it, this is really that time when we want you to get to work and to really think through your next season with clarity. And then you have access. The MVP Circle experience is open for a year for you to build in that community. I'm sure the community will live on beyond that, but those are the bones to that infrastructure to help you be successful. So what I know about high performers is that they're used to being evaluated. We know that that's coming and we're ready for that, but very few are used to evaluating themselves at the business level. And that's where we want to take things in this MVP Circle experience. If you don't build structure around your transition, what I do know is that you default to reaction. And we don't want to be in that reactionary position. We want to be able to take things head on and plan for them, not with a rush, but with intention. So whether you're in the early days of loss, that maybe when you're thinking is going to be so important. If you're planning your exit, then, clarity is going to be critical for you. And if you're reinventing, then your positioning matters so much. And reestablishing whatever your routines or your new normals look like. What we know is that a business leader doesn't just describe what they did, they describe what changed because they were there. And that means that you added value. You added value to whatever space you were in. And the MVP Circle experience can help you rediscover that, evaluate, and be able to communicate that in a way that positions you for your next season of success. And so I'm inviting you to the MVP Circle. We're going to work on translating your leadership into impact language. We're going to honor what you've done and the contributions that you've made so that you can walk into whatever your next is, whether it's a job interview, whether it is an investor piece where you're trying to fund your next venture, whether it is into a boardroom or whatever your next thing, it could be speaking opportunities, whatever it is, whatever your next season in your journey. We're going to prepare you to be able to walk into that with boldness, with clarity, precision, and purpose. And so I hope that you take advantage of the MVP Circle experience. We would certainly love to have you be a part. And I'm looking forward to seeing all of the great things that are coming and that will come from this experience. If you have questions or want information, you can definitely enter MOVE in the comments and I'll respond back. If you know somebody that would benefit from this, go ahead and tag them in the comments and I'll make sure that I share the link with them as well. So I certainly hope this has been good in terms of explaining what you can expect and why now is the right time and how we are going to move the dial for you as you journey into your next chapter. That's all for now, friends. Thank you so much. This is Shalisa.